Welcome to the Late Night Race Review. Like every man after a split up, Carlos hits the gym, loses some weight and shows his ex exactly what they're missing. We pose the question, was this Max Verstappen guy just a flash in the pan? Logan Sargent gets to finally see that other F1 cars have front wings too. And Fernando changes careers and becomes a brake tester for Mercedes. It's the AustralianGP. As always, we wrap things up with a look at our predictions game. And don't forget to support the podcast by hitting those like, follow and subscribe buttons. Welcome back to the Late Night Race Review. I'm Owen Scott, and with me as always is Dave Jericho, and the Bolivian bagel biter is Isidro Consalves. As we all finally wake up from that 2-year-long fever dream where Max Verstappen won every race. Well, actually, yeah, no, that wasn't a dream. All right, Dave, what did you think of today's race? Is it a sign of things to come? Are we back to our usual Max Verstappen winning every week from next week?
It was nice. Australia, that's 2 years in a row now. Australia's given us a bit of a break from a boring season. I know we're only at the start of the season, but let's call a spade a spade. We know how it's going to go. But I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah, it was good. It was a good race. It was nice to have a little bit of variation. Next in Japan, yeah. Look, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting because I think Ferrari are planning on bringing upgrades, but then again, Mercedes brought upgrades this weekend, and we saw how that worked out. So. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was a good race.
Absolutely horrific. And Isidro, did you manage to stay awake through it this time?
No, it was too early for me. I had to see it afterwards, but not knowing what would happen. But it was a good race. Unexpected how it turned out. I'm not expecting the Mercedes to drop off and not expect to see Verstappen out of the race in 5 or 6 laps. But overall, it was good.
It was lovely.
Best race so far.
Can I say one thing? I did the same as you. Like I recorded. I didn't get up at 4 a.m. to watch it, but I tried to avoid all the fucking any news on the result. I just put the race on. It was just about to go fucking lights out and away we go. And Sky News, who never, and forget about Sky Sports app, Sky News never give report on the race results. Popped up an alert with the race results.
Oh no!
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why would you do
phone?
that?
On your phone or the TV?
On my phone.
Oh, I mean, I don't have much sympathy for you there. You went looking at your phone.
Well, yeah. I didn't go diving around for the results. Like, I mean, it was forced upon me, and I feel violated in my F1 watching.
In fairness, I don't think anyone knows where they are at the moment. Max Verstappen going out in the first few laps and someone else winning is just so foreign.
Exactly, it's all chaos now.
Yeah,
like.
Everyone's in shock mode. They don't know what to do. Even Carlos didn't know how to stand on the podium and hold it.
Do I need to get something else cut out of me? What the fuck is going on?
The band were like, oh, so we don't play that one? We didn't learn any other ones.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get down to it. Look, Max, we'll start with Max Verstappen because there's not much really to talk about. What was it, Dave? Was it something to do with the back rear right brake?
Yeah, rear right brake, locked on. So, that wasn't going to get any better as well. I mean, I suppose it could have freed up as he was driving, but it didn't. It just latched on. It was just overheating, and then I'm sure we saw what happened when he pulled into the pits with the explosion. Then, so that's it's unusual. Like I said, that's 2 years since Red Bull have had a DNF from mechanical failure. So. That just shows the reliability in F1 these days and Red Bull. But look, it was great. But I'm just curious what would have happened had he stayed in the race. Were Ferrari still good? I think Red Bull tried to be a little too clever with the tire degradation by putting so much front wing on the car. So I wonder whether Carlos Sainz had the speed to beat Max Verstappen. I like to think he would have.
Yeah, I mean, he was pulling away at one stage, a la Max Verstappen, away from whoever was in second at the time. I can't remember. There was a good gap there appearing. But
Max Verstappen was saying that the brake was locked on from lights out.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it was or not, but I mean, I don't know. But I still, like, we saw him catching Max and getting past him, and I'm kind of like, yeah, the brake might be locked on, but I mean, it didn't look like it was doing that much to your pace at the very beginning. Like, it wasn't until later on. So I don't know. I think maybe we saw at the very start, we saw the kind of the true kind of pace between the two of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it was turn one. Isidro was business as usual. At that stage, I'd woken up at 4 a.m. and I'd watched the start. I saw turn one and I was like, oh crap, this is just gonna be the same shit over and over again. But it wasn't. It was. Well, what do you think of the start of the race?
The start of the race, like you're saying, oh, it's more of the usual. But we could see that there was not the same as Verstappen, was not the way as usually is. I mean, he usually by turn one, turn two, he said goodbye and that's it. And we see the other 19 drivers today, 18. But it was a fun race. Although the end of the race was a bit unexpected, I have to say. But overall, the race itself, we removed Verstappen out of the way, and it was with very good battles, and Ferrari showing the colors, and they have the car for this year.
Yeah, and very interesting signs at Ferrari, Dave. Yeah, go on, sorry.
No, I was going to say, just before we jump on to Ferrari, doesn't it show, though, we say this every time we're having the conversation about whether it's Max Verstappen is just a great driver in a great car, and then when he's not in the race, and we see Carlos Sainz, we see SergioPerez then in the other Red Bull, and it's sort of like a race as you would expect it. Like, it could be anybody's kind of race to win, really. Like, so it just shows the level, I think, that Max Verstappen and that Red Bull is at combined versus, that it is definitely Max Verstappen fucking putting his weight behind the results.
I guess to stay there with you mentioned SergioPerez. He got by Fernando Alonso at one stage, and it looked as if he was going to blister off into the distance, but he didn't. He didn't have the pace there, Dave, did he?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think that's the difference between the two drivers and the car. Like, the car is a great car, but when you don't have that quality of driver now, and especially today was going to be difficult with the tire degradation, the front wing they put on, it wasn't possibly the most optimal setup that they would like to have been driving with. But again, it would show the difference between a good driver and a great driver. Like, so, like SergioPerez is a good driver, but we saw the difference today, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and every other weekend.
Yeah, that's the thing. It just it highlights it even more now that Max, if Max isn't there, you start looking to see where is that other Red Bull. You don't really notice when Max is there because you just expect it just kind of shadows it or something. Which kind of leads me to the next point, is that Christian Horner afterwards said that he wouldn't rule out signing Carlos Sainz to Red Bull. He said something like, we want the best driver pairing in the field, and we won't rule out any options.
Yeah, I mean, he has to go there.
It's the only one that makes sense, really.
On Sky F1, they were talking about him going to Aston Martin. What a sin that would be. Can you imagine sending him to Aston Martin? Like,
even at this stage, going to Mercedes doesn't look like a move that you could. He's the only one winning races.
No, and when we had the rumor going around with Verstappen possibly going to Mercedes as well because of what was going on in Red Bull. Clearly, when you see what happened today with their upgrades, with the you're like, geez, I'd say Verstappen's just like, everybody in Red Bull can send dick pics and he'll still stay there at this stage.
Yeah, there's no move with him, is there?
There's nothing that you could send a photo of that wouldn't stop Max Verstappen staying at Red Bull.
So he has said that they just want to take their time. Obviously, Perez was compromised today, but he's had a great start to the season, so they're not in any desperate rush to sign anyone. But at the same time, other people are going to be floating around Carlos Sainz, and if they don't kind of make a decision on it, it could be taken out of their hands and they could be left.
Carlos Sainz has to be holding out for Red Bull. Like, he can't be. He's not going to take the best offer. He's going to take the best drive, and he's got to hold out for that. And I'll be honest, we get the summer break, I suppose. If the decision's not made by the summer break, I think he might not be going to Red Bull. Then it could be going somewhere else. Like,
us.
Oh, could you imagine? But anyone outside of, he's not going to go to, like, McLaren aren't shaking up their driver lineup. There's no, it's going to be a shit team or someone that's in a shit position at the moment. Mercedes, Aston Martin, or Red Bull. They're the only real good drives for him, like, for someone of that caliber.
Yeah, nothing else makes sense, as you say, at this stage. We just kind of have to wait and see if it gets announced or not. And speaking of the smooth operator, he's coming into his hot girl summer, isn't he? Carlos Sainz he's transformed himself into this thing that Ferrari must be kicking themselves that they're losing, Isidro.
Yeah.
Probably on purpose. I think he's doing his best to show them, well, you picked the wrong driver to not renew the contract. Or
Absolutely.
So we knew that he was always the best driver in Ferrari. He was the one doing the point and having constant results more than Leclerc. Leclerc is a good driver, but I think Sainz over the past years has been showing that he's a very good driver and constant bringing points.
Yep.
And I think he's just showing Ferrari they bet the wrong horse.
I mean, it's happened to us all, Dave, hasn't it? We broke up with the girlfriend, and you hit the gym, you get the abs out, and you head to the beach and you show off. But is this something that Sainz will continue to generate week in, week out, do you think? Or is this just a kind of a reaction?
Yeah, I think he's going to outperform Leclerc most of this season.
Good.
But we saw this for a while last season. I don't know, I'll try to let Isidro jump in there.
Go on.
No, I'm just saying that Sainz has nothing left to lose, so he can just do whatever he wants on that Ferrari.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we saw last season as well that, do you remember we were saying there was no defined number one, number two driver at Ferrari? Do you remember? It was,
constant.
And then we also said last season that Leclerc was more of an emotional driver, and sometimes made stupid mistakes based on just pure emotion, whereas Carlos Sainz is a bit more of just a technical racing driver or something like that. So if a mistake is made, it's purely just calculation mistake as opposed to, just emotions. Although having said that, we're maybe seeing the signs of emotions kind of coming out in his driving now that he's just been given the boot by Ferrari and now he's willing to rub their noses in it a bit, which I hope he does. It would be absolute. Could you imagine if Ferrari, they bring their upgrades in Japan, and Ferrari then just start outperforming Red Bull and he wins the world championship.
Sets him on fire, yeah.
Oh, it'd be amazing. And then he's just fucking, holding up his world championship trophy, sticking his fingers up at Ferrari as he walks out the door.
We all want that. Everyone wants that.
Yeah.
Even if you're a Red Bull fan, I think you'll be like, yeah, no, I think I need
I'll
this.
take that.
Yeah, absolutely. The F1 needs that narrative to happen.
Exactly.
So Ferrari, Charles Leclerc, not really coming close to Carlos today. I don't think there was ever really a chance of him.
There was a bit, and then at the start, and then Ferrari called team orders. Do you remember? And then so Leclerc was coming right up. He was within DRS, and then came over the radio. Then basically team orders, just hold position now for the race. And you were like, oh, I don't like that. I'll be honest. I think they should scrap team orders. I know.
Yeah.
For us as race fans, for the vast majority of racing fans, it's down to the driver that we tend to follow. We support the team as well, but we tend to have a driver that we favor, that we'd like to see win.
Yeah.
But the sport is actually a team sport. It's actually the team that has to. So I get why they do the team orders, but they did it 3 times today. They did it with McLaren, they did it with Ferrari, and they did it with Haas as well. Allowing Hülkenberg to overtake Magnussen, which in the end scuppered my fucking top 10 for Albon, which we'll get to predictions later on. But fucking Haas just fucked me over again. Isidro, go on, sorry.
You are forgetting another team orders that screw up somebody's weekend. Williams.
Logan Sargent.
Oh,
yeah. Team orders.
yeah.
Logan, out of here.
Yeah, he got the worst of it, in fairness,
As I said in the intro, this is probably the best view Logan Sargent has had of a race in the last year. He's finally seeing the front of some cars other than the back.
And not in his the front wing of a car in his wing mirrors, as they're approaching him to lap him.
Good job by him. We can touch on that briefly, and then we'll get on to the next one. But there was absolute uproar. I saw uproar online. How can Williams do this? It's absolute travesty. But look at Williams and how the two drivers have performed. Logan Sargent is horseshit. And I don't think Williams as a team, and that's the thing, as you were saying there, we sometimes forget that this is a team sport. There's money involved. These teams have to think about every single point that they gather. That decision to put Albon in the seat, it was just business sense, wasn't it, Dave?
Well, that's it. Like, I mean, that's exactly what we said. It's a team sport, and they were just going to go with whoever was going to give them the better chance, especially as Haas are now outscoring them, which is catastrophic. Like, it's worth millions at the end of the season. Like, and it's catastrophic just because it's fucking Haas, and we all hate Haas on this podcast. Or at least I like to think we do. But yeah, and that's it. We said already, Logan Sargent's there pretty much for the sponsorship, the American audience. It's sort of more publicity than I think a racing decision. And today or this weekend was more of a racing decision and a financial decision for the end of the season, but it didn't pay off for them. So I'd say, I mean, it'll come good. I mean, obviously, if it comes down to race positions to determine where you finish in the constructors, then I mean, it might come good. Then Albon would have finished higher than Sargent, most likely. But I don't think there's any reason for any uproar. It's clear and obvious what's going on. Yeah, and can I just say one thing? Isidro, I just saw some like fluffy hair pop up there on the left of your webcam. Is that your cat or the plumber coming up from underneath?
Oh, it's the cat.
It's the cat. Okay, grand. Plumber's still under the desk then.
Right, I'm implementing team orders. We're moving on to McLaren. And speaking of team orders, Isidro, you can get us kicking off here with McLaren. Great day for McLaren. OscarPiastri, I think, showed his maturity in not going off afterwards about getting the team orders.
Yeah, I understand the team orders from McLaren. I mean, Norris had fresher tires than Piastri, but they were gambling that. I mean, Piastri was racing at home and telling them that the Australian driver should swap positions with Lando. I mean, that's not a good move, but I understand the position and it would make sense putting everything. But overall, I think McLaren did a solid race. From all the teams, they are probably, together with Ferrari, they were both very solid this weekend. And definitely McLaren knows what they're doing, and they have very good drivers. You couldn't pick between Lando and Piastri. They are both good, and they deliver.
As you said earlier on, Dave, they have a very equal driver lineup there. They were still, though, somewhat pace-wise off of Ferrari. They're a good bit off Ferrari still, though, aren't they?
But look when McLaren started at the start of the season. Do you remember? Like, I mean, where'd they finish? They finished kind of in the low down in the top 10, wasn't it? Like they finished. I'm going to quickly just check this now on the in Bahrain. They finished 6th and 8th, and so we were all at that stage, kind of going, oh, where's the pace that McLaren had at the end of last season that we thought they were going to build on at the start of this season? And then they came out and said that it was going to be 5 races into the season before we see what McLaren can do. Well, we're not even 5 races into the season, and they've after finishing 3rd and 4th. So I think they're, I think it's all positive from McLaren. Like they seem to be ahead of schedule. I mean, we shall see in Japan whether it continues to go in that direction, but I think it's pretty good.
This is always a track that McLaren are pretty good on, though, isn't it? Like the last few years, they've always performed pretty well at Australia. Is it track specific? Do you think today?
What they?
Yeah, didn't was it 2 seasons ago? Himself and Ricardo were 3 and 4 as well.
That's right. Yeah. I'll be honest. Every time I think of Australia, wasn't it? Alonso's mega crash in that McLaren. Sorry, just every time I think of McLaren.
Oh, that's years ago.
Oh, yeah, it's a long time ago.
It's
always when I think of McLaren, you know, when someone does that thing online when they hold up an old football shirt or something like that, and they say, "What player do you think of when you see this shirt?" Yeah. Like it's when someone says like the Australian Grand Prix, and then you say McLaren, what do you think of? And I instantly think of that ridiculous crash for Alonso.
Yeah. McLaren what's his name is after Zach Brown is after signing a new contract with McLaren as well. All seems to be positive, heading in the positive direction for McLaren.
Yeah. I mean they're on the right track. I mean what can you say? Like it's all coming up Millhouse.
All the drama was worth it there in getting Piastri in that seat at the end of the day, wasn't it? You can see why everyone was fighting over him now.
But can you imagine if he was in the Alpine?
Oh God, yeah.
What a waste! You're like Carlos Sainz going to fucking Aston Martin.
All right, let's move down the grid. I want to take a look at the Mercedes, but looking at the grid here, they're way down the bottom. But they're probably the most notable things have happened to Mercedes today. Lewis Hamilton, even though his engine quit on him, Dave, do you think he quit even before the race? There was comments all the way through the
100%.
weekend.
He checked out. This whole weekend, he's been checked out. Like, I mean, he's just. I think you said it even last week that you were waiting for him to turn up in his flip flops, and I mean, this weekend, like, I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't not only had flip flops, but he like the racing seat was taken out and replaced with like a sun lounger or something like that. Like it was, yeah, he just wasn't feeling it, and I'd say he was secretly delighted that the engine gave, and he was just kind of like, thank fuck, I don't have to race the rest of this car, the rest of this race in this car. Like, yeah, I know he's a professional, but surely deep down he's just being like, thank God, I knew I was going to get nowhere. I was struggling, like he was struggling to keep hold of a 10th place or something like that. I was like, I'd say he was just secretly delighted that engine gave out. I'd say he has a little button, a little secret kill switch at the back of his steering wheel. Race is going shit, hit the button.
Yeah.
Kill the engine.
His new magic button.
Yeah.
I mean, Ferrari have got to be looking on and kind of thinking, oh shit. I mean, have we made a bad decision here? Sergio, do you think they're a little bit nervous about what they're after doing?
No, I think they know that Hamilton doesn't care for the rest of the season. And they know that they'll have a solid pilot for the 2025 season. And at the moment, I like to think that Hamilton is at home, just cutting Sainz out of the Ferrari, just with his face. And see, that'll be me next year.
That's good. I like that.
No, but I think they did Hamilton will do very well in Ferrari. Hamilton just not. I don't think he's checked out for this race. Just for the whole season, just I don't care. I have a seat next year.
Dave,
but is it just? Did you think it's more PR from Ferrari rather than an actual? Because I mean, I personally think for the long term for Ferrari, I would see at this stage of their careers that Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc is probably Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton probably a better combination, but what they had at the moment, or what they have at the moment, I think is, for me, if that was a 5-year plan of your two racing drivers, I'd be like, we're in a good shape. Like, so why you would run the risk of a driver who's had two checked out seasons at two frustrating seasons at Mercedes, to gamble that, to a team that, is inconsistent. Can you imagine if Lewis Hamilton goes on his first race for Ferrari and that inconsistency, like poor pit stop, fucking reliability, or bad performance, and it doesn't do well, and then all of a sudden fucking Lewis Hamilton's head drops again. He's just like, fuck me, it's a Mercedes in red, like, I mean, gee, I don't know. I think they're mad. I think they have a good lineup at the moment. They're slowly but surely creeping in the right direction. There was no need to sign Lewis Hamilton for anything other than possibly a PR.
I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's the Lionel Messi going to Inter Milan shirt sales sort of deal is what they're doing.
Yeah, it has that stink about it, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward, how many years does Lewis Hamilton have left?
Well, it's
driving?
a 5-year deal, hasn't he signed with Ferrari? So that's bringing him up to 42. I think he's 37 at the moment, isn't he?
Interesting.
So, I mean, you're gambling that, I mean, Fernando Alonso's 42, isn't he? Yeah, he is 42. So he's probably, in my lifetime, I can't think of any other drivers that have lasted to that age in Formula One. Is there, unless someone can pull a name out of the hat and tell me someone else that was that age in Formula One. So Fernando Alonso is basically a trailblazer of the first kind of driver in modern Formula One anyway. I'm sure there's guys in old, going back further, but in modern Formula One that has performed very well at the age that he is. So they're really gambling that Lewis Hamilton at 42 is going to be what Fernando Alonso is. I mean, that's a fucking big gamble when you're kicking out Carlos Sainz, who's only going from strength to strength.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to anyone, I don't think. Let's move on to George Russell very, very quickly. He was complaining that he didn't really have the pace either today. Dave, give me a roundup of George.
Yeah, well, the for both of them, the upgrades they brought this weekend didn't do anything for them. So just unfortunately Mercedes are still fighting with that car and trying to find a solution that's going to work for them, which, I mean, look, that this could be another season just right off for them. Like it seems to be, I don't know where they go from here. Like they're just kind of chasing their tails a bit. But that being said, I mean, he was on for what, a 6th place, was it, finish when he was fighting with Alonso?
Yeah.
And now it's obviously come out now that Alonso has obviously taken a 20-second penalty, so he's dropped to 8th place for brake checking. That caused, they reckon, was the sort of the catalyst that caused that accident with Russell. Yeah, exactly. Like, and it was, I don't know why they kept showing it in slow motion. I mean, he didn't hit the wall actually quite as hard as it looked initially. Like, as the gravel kind of slowed him down. But did you watch the footage afterwards of him? The one on Sky Sports app. It was the in-car footage and the radio, and he's just screaming for the red flag.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, it's like, settle down. Sorry.
Yeah, interesting enough. I mean, it was more dramatic that the wheel went underneath and flipped the car a little bit.
Slowly
pushed it up.
Over on the side. I'm on my side. I'm on my side.
Did you see? It was afterwards. They were watching the. It was Lando, Carlos, and Charles were watching the. It was that room afterwards, and
the cool down room.
Yeah, it was one of them had said, "Oh, what was that? The crash?" And then it cuts from the crash to him on his side. Is like, oh, and then Lando Norris starts laughing.
Exactly.
So funny. But I mean, George Russell said it was such a shame to end the race that way. Totally caught out by the car ahead while entering the corner. I lost some points for the team. It was more Alonso. It wasn't Alonso brake checking. It was more that he had a problem with his throttle.
I don't buy that. I mean, he had to have hit the brakes going around the corner, and purely he was trying to get Carlos. Jeez, my name. I'm tired today.
George Russell.
Thank you. Trying to get George Russell to slow down in the corner so he could get a better exit and increase the gap going into the DRS zones. So he was trying to find a way of breaking it before they got to the DRS detection point.
If you watched, there was an onboard of Fernando Alonso's car coming back after that corner, and his engine is actually cutting out. It's like intermittently kind of cutting in and out. And
was that not earlier in the race?
No, I think that was after that corner. I have to look it back again.
Because I didn't see that, but I saw a video popped up about Alonso regains the car or something like that early on, and when I saw that, I thought, oh, it must have been like at the beginning or somewhere at the start of the race. I didn't realize it was after that. But then if it was after that, then surely he wouldn't have been given the penalty if they could prove that there was a technical issue that caused him to slow down.
Yeah, interesting.
That's why I thought it wasn't after that corner.
Maybe I got that wrong. Actually, yeah, it could be. All right, let's take a look at. I've in my notes here. I've got fucking hell, Sauber, and Sauber have more trouble getting nuts off than a middle-aged man. What is the story with this Sauber wheel nut issue?
Who wants to take the sticky nuts?
Go ahead.
You've got the plumber.
Yeah, go on, Sergio. Tell us about sticky nuts. Go on.
Well, I think that the clowns that were Ferrari last season, they all move over to kick Sauber for some reason.
Yeah,
it's the only explanation I see.
But
they don't find the tool. They don't know the tires. I mean, it's definitely Ferrari from last year.
Yeah,
it is.
But it's weird. I don't understand how a design. Like they have the design fault in the axles, that obviously for the wheel nut going on, the cross threading of the wheel nut. But I mean, this been going on for ages. Like this hasn't I mean, surely like you don't have to redesign the whole axle. It's just the end point of the axle for where the wheel is mounting on.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure by now they could have possibly resolved the threading issue and not had 5, 6, 7 second pit stops. I mean, Jesus Christ, if they go through a season like that, I mean, fucking, that's it. Good luck. See you, Sauber.
It was incredible. I mean, they've had 2 weeks now. They had this issue in Saudi Arabia. Why hasn't this been solved?
Yeah, I know. I don't understand it. Like, I wouldn't have thought it was a huge
It's just some
development.
threads on a nut. Just sort it
Yeah.
out. Very, very simple. Same
Yeah.
as the whole Williams thing, and it's ridiculous that they don't have another chassis there as well. But I mean, that's what some of these teams are probably dealing with. They don't have maybe the budget to do
I
that sort of
loved
work.
the days when they used to have the spare car. Do you remember? And they'd have an accident and be like, he's going to be in the spare car this weekend. Like
Yeah,
it was great. It was a car ready to go, like just in the spare car, and off you go. And it was never set up the way they exactly wanted, but it was set up sort of to balance between the two drivers. Now, yeah, there's fucking, I suppose all the budget goes into two cars and not the spare car.
It's not even that. It's into Instagram advertising.
Yeah.
Right, looking down, is there anyone any other mentions? I want to say something actually. Gunther Steiner should not be an interviewer.
He was
That is terrible.
brutal.
Everyone was having trouble understanding him. I was having trouble understanding him. He's a great team principal. It's good when he has interviews. He's very entertaining, but he's not someone you want interviewing people, is he?
No. He just, like, even when he gave the first interview with Carlos Sainz, it just started getting awkward, and you could tell he was like, in his brain, he was like, shit, is it over now? Do I ask another question? And he's trying to fucking, the cogs were turning, trying to fucking pull out another question.
Yeah. Yes, Carlos, you really smashed the race today. You did very fucking good. It's like, Gunther, no, stop. It'd be great
Pull
to see
your
him back.
appendix out of your asshole.
What
the
you
fuck?
fucked it out. Yeah, very interesting. And his Lando interview was very interesting as well. Love him to bits, but yeah, not the right job for him now.
No.
But yeah, no, I at one stage of the race I was looking back to see where Danny Ricciardo was, and he was plumb last, but he managed to make his way back to 12th.
Who cares? Like, it was,
I know,
but
but
the back of the grid was a train wreck.
Just shite, isn't it? Nothing really
Like,
happening. Alpine are still absolutely terrible.
Garbage. El Plan went to El shit. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
crap.
garbage back there.
Absolute crap. It's bad now that Haas have become, the best of the rest down there.
Yeah.
Williams just absolute shite as well. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything covered for the Australian GP. Dave, is it time?
Yeah, well, we're going with loser of the day and
Driver of the
all
day
right, or
first.
let's go with the winner of the day, because I think we're all going to be on the same page here. So, Scotty, I'll let you call out winner of the day.
I think the winner of the day is Logan's. No, it's not. It's Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, I'm going to go Carlos Sainz as well.
Absolutely.
And Isidro.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz.
I was surprised that fucking on the F1 fan vote that the two McLarens were ranking so high. I was kind of like, I don't know, I thought it was a
Yeah.
bit.
And I was surprised that Max Verstappen got 5.5% of the driver of the day vote.
Oh, that was just, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, these are the fans that just follow, it's like people that follow a football
Ronaldo.
player rather than a football team. Like, it's just absolute morons. Anyway, right, loser of the day. I'm going to go with, Scotty, we'll go. Sorry.
I'm actually going to go for, does it have to be loser of the day or loser of the weekend? I'm going to go Logan Sargent. I mean, I understand why they did it.
Yeah,
and
technically, yeah.
I'm for it. But I mean, it's got to be a kick in the balls to just have your car taken away from you because you're just so shite.
Granted, though, I suppose had he not have had the car taken away from him, there's still a good chance he might have made loser of the day anyway. Like,
yeah, he would have been watching the race from the exact same position. So
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really matter.
I'm going to go with Mercedes as the losers of the day. I mean, brought their upgrades. They did absolutely fuck all. One engine died, the other hit a wall. I mean, it was just carnage for Mercedes this weekend. So I'm going to give them loser of the day. Isidro, who's your loser of the day?
My loser of the day is the guy or the team responsible for the brakes in the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. Because I'm pretty sure that tomorrow Verstappen will fly to the UK to the factory with a baseball bat and start asking names. And
he was not happy, was he? He was not happy, and that you see his conversation in the garage.
Oh yeah, and the old fucking tapping at
stupid.
the forehead.
Yeah.
And that was the cameras on. Imagine with the cameras off. I tell you, you're gonna fly to the UK to the factory.
Yeah, someone's getting fired. Yeah, big time. That's a good one. Dave, what do you think? Who are you going for? It's ultimately, I guess, your vote.
I mean, there's well, look, I mean, there's three there. There's three good ones. Oh, fuck. I'll go with Logan Sargent. Fuck it, we'll give him something.
Yeah, he deserves something today other than
Yeah.
signing autographs in Australia.
Logan Sargent, fair play. You have one loser.
I mean, he flew all the way to Australia just to like hold a Sharpie and sign some hats, and now he's
Hell of a
flying
long
home again.
flight, wasn't it? All right, guys. Right, so let's get on to our race predictions. Then we have. Yeah, mine's not getting any better here. The car crash continues. My George Russell weekend. I had my top 3 was Max Verstappen. Like, I mean, the one time you're like, sure thing, and yeah, Max Verstappen P1 negative, Perez P2 negative, and Sainz P3 negative. Scotty.
Okay, well, mine isn't any better. Yes, it is. Okay, mine was. Oh no, it's not. I was looking at the wrong week. I was looking at Bahrain.
Yeah.
I was like,
Wow.
yeah, Norris is in third. Okay, so mine wasn't any better. I picked the wrong McLaren driver. Max Perez Piastri. Wah, wah, wah.
And I was watching that race and I
Yeah.
knew you guys picked Piastri, and I was like, when
Yeah.
I saw Norris getting that fucking P3, yeah, I was delighted. Go on, Zidro.
Oh, I got the same as Scotty. Max, Perez, and Piastri.
Max.
That's
Perez,
what you get for
Piastri.
copying the homework.
Goose egg all round. Now this is where it gets painful for me. Flop, fucking Hulkenberg outside the top 10. Another goose egg.
Wah, wah.
Well,
I went for the exact same thing. Hulkenberg
did
outside top
indeed.
10. Goose egg. Wah.
And I
oh,
went
is Zidro
Dick.
so
Almost.
He even has it highlighted. Look.
almost. Hamilton outside top 10.
Goose egg. Hamilton outside
Yeah.
top 10. You should just
Call
a
it,
simple
yeah.
change for a DNF there, and yeah, we're golden. All
Such a
right.
pity.
Well, it doesn't get any better.
For
Wow,
no one.
we did really bad. Okay. Albon, top 10 finish, 0. Scotty,
Same as load of shit.
Ocon, top 10 finish,
Yeah.
0. And 0.
Ocon inside top 10.
What were we
So-
thinking?
Like literally 0 across everything. So the table stays the exact same. Scotty in the lead still on 5 points. Zidro in second on 4 points, and me in third place on 2 points.
Can I just note, Esteban Ocon came plumb last out of everyone.
Well, technically, they've classified, even though it says DNF, they have classified George Russell as 17th there for some reason.
Oh, that's a load of shite. That's a DNF. But Esteban Ocon, like we what were we thinking? He was the worst driver out there.
Yeah, that was
Did
rough.
nothing.
Well, he was good on the Saudi Arabia. That's why.
Oh man, absolutely.
Well-
Terrible. Poor Alpine.
We've got Japan now coming up next. So I haven't prepared any predictions. I'm going to stop preparing predictions ahead of time. I'm just going to do it on the fly.
Just go
I'm
for it. I
just
think it's more fun that way.
Yeah, just fucking throw them out. And I'm going to absolutely ride the whole off the Carlos Sainz gravy train. And I'm going to go Carlos Sainz P1.
Oh shit!
Yeah. I want to see. I'm gambling on the upgrades for Ferrari doing a positive, and the fact that Ferrari. I'm not giving you my justification in case you fucking pick my fucking.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Like, it's a gamble. Like,
Yeah, it's a very big gamble.
I'm going to Carlos Sainz. P1. I'm going with Verstappen P2, and I'm going with Oh, do I want to go with Leclerc in P3? Or am I gonna roll the dice? Do you know? Okay, I'm gonna go 3 different drivers on the podium, or 3 different teams on the
Ooh.
podium. I'm gonna go with Lando Norris, P3.
Oh man,
Oh.
I am Team Lando all the way. But I don't know if I can. I'm going to go Max
He
Verstappen.
had me hyped in his post race.
race. I want nothing more than for Lando Norris to just win a freaking race. Anyway, I'm going to go Verstappen P1. I'm going to go Sainz P2. And for the fun of it, I'm going to go with Leclerc P3.
Oh.
I
Is
knew
this
you were
what
going to
you
go
have,
there, Zidro.
Yeah, Verstappen, Sainz, and Leclerc.
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake! Is this like 3 weeks in a row? You boys have hang on. No, the only race this season so far then that you haven't is Bahrain, that you picked different drivers. Yeah.
Yeah, Bahrain, yeah.
So the last 2 races and now
Those
this
as well.
race, for 3 weeks now in a row, you boys are going to pick the exact same top 3.
I
Lose
mean,
together, win together.
exactly. That's my boy. plumber
Lads,
buddies.
I go for big air. I go for the spectacular. I'm here for entertainment, not for fucking
For winning. Yeah, okay,
not,
cool.
not for winning. I couldn't give a shit about that.
Hence, I'm top of the table, and you've got 2 points.
It's all about the entertainment. All right, my flop is going to be Perez DNF.
Oof.
I'm going big air all round this weekend. I'm not messing around. I'm going fucking. If I'm going to lose, I'm fucking losing big.
Okay. Mine is going to be YukiTsunoda outside the top. No. Pfft. Cancel that. I'm going to say Kevin Magnussen outside the top 10.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. See, Joe, you dick.
Oh, you boys and your fucking. I hope Kevin
eyes.
Magnussen is on the fucking podium now, and I lose out on Norris.
No,
right.
my flop will be Norris DNF.
Ooh. Does not finish.
So, okay,
unlike
Mag,
Isidro.
sorry, you're going Norris DNF.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
See, I like that, Isidro. That's fucking show some balls, not like this fucking other guy here.
Hey, look, when you're at the top of the table like me, you can make those decisions.
Oh yeah, look, we could all play the stats, Scotty. We could all play the stats, but
That's what this game is, boys.
Yeah.
No, look, like we're here because it's from our soul, Scotty. It's from our soul.
That's the reason we all drew this fucking thing last year. We need someone to win it this year.
That's why I'm going big air. If I'm winning, I'm going in style, and if I'm losing, at least I can show that I made some entertainment along the way.
I love
All
your
right,
commitment.
my surprise, my fucking surprise, is going to be
Albon top 10.
Mr. Big Air, huh?
Logan Sargent starting the race.
No, not a hope.
My big air. All right, fuck you. No, I'm gonna stick with big air. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm on top 10. No, I'm not. I'm gonna go fucking Bottas top 10 finish.
Ooh, Jesus
Fuck it.
Christ.
I'm gonna decimate my season until I hit one of these fucking big air moments.
Could you go? And this probably isn't possible, but could you go Max Verstappen inside the top 10?
No.
Okay.
Then why couldn't I get Logan Sargent starting the race?
Okay, let's see if you can give me this one. Right, I am going to go for one of the Kick Sauber cars to have a plus 50-second pit stop. Would that be a surprise?
Yeah. You are being specific.
Over 50 seconds in a pit stop.
Plus 50, yeah. I think something dramatically is going to go
just
wrong.
the pit stop itself, not
Yeah.
coming into the box and getting out. Just
No,
the
pit
work.
stop.
Yeah. Plus 15
I mean,
seconds.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's. I mean, technically in the flop department, but
It would be a surprise, though, right?
it would be a surprise and a flop. So yeah, I'll give it to you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That'll do.
All right. So Sauber with a plus 50 pit stop.
50 or 15.
You want big air.
That's bigger air now than me throwing out Bottas in the top 10. Like
Scott, you said 15 or 50?
50, 5-0.
5-0.
Okay.
I think
Oh yeah, if it
something
was
dramatically
1-5,
wrong.
I wouldn't give it to him because there's a good chance that'll happen with their
No, it
fucking
was-
boxy axles.
Yeah.
I'll go with standard Albon top 10.
Oh, boo! I mean, that is literally apart from the Norris one. I'll give you that. That's a nice little one.
So
Baby
that-
steps.
I mean, Jesus, like, I mean, what did I? I mean, I didn't even start the season out safe. I went with Lewis for a P1. Yeah.
You were
I've
a
gone.
believer.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia. I went for a. Yeah. Now I'm fucking throwing it away now. Fuck it, I don't care. All right, guys. Well, we will be back in 2 weeks for Japan, and we look forward to seeing whether my big air pays off or whether it's all about the stats. But until then, we shall see you in Japan.